Pleased to recognize a gentleman from Iowa, Mr. Nunn, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, team. I appreciate you being out here in Washington for this. I know we all like to be looking at getting back into the field as soon as it thaws here. President Duvall, I'm going to be coming to you first, my friend. As a member of Iowa's 3rd Congressional District and part of a family of century farmers in our home state, I've heard from countless farmers on the impact of inflation has been highlighted here today. Iowa's producers and their ability to both feed and fuel the supply chain disruptions, the labor shortages, Russia's recent invasion of Ukraine and the impact on fertilizer have all contributed to a significant hike in the price of crucial farm inputs like fuel. In just 2 years, the average price of a gallon of diesel fuel has increased by 95%, making it hard for everybody to not only get to that field, but also to be able to harvest and feed our families. And I've got 6 kids, so that's a big impact. Additionally, in 2022, the average price of gasoline reached its highest level on record ever. As input costs continue to rise, farmers' abilities to ensure the continuation of abundant food supply decreases. Iowa is the #1 producer of biofuel, providing a homegrown solution that positively impacts our environment, our economy, and American producers. However, the nation enters the summer of 2023 still having a ban on year-round ethanol blends that constrict our biofuel producers. So, Zippy, one of the things I want to ask you about is how would a year-round E15 relieve the current pressure on inflation and place our farmers and consumers in a better position?
Well, it'd lower the cost to consumers, and it would bolster the rural communities where they're growing those soybeans and corn, and that's a simple fact. There is I call it, I'm wearing my cotton tie today. There's an infrastructure around ethanol, and there's a big infrastructure around cotton, and it affects those rural communities extremely. And when you hold that back, it limits their ability to thrive and be better.
We're going to get you a corn tie to go with that cotton tie. Thanks, Mr. President. Mr. Brown, we'd like to chat with you a little bit as well here. My home state gets the privilege of leading in egg production, but with the spike in egg prices, highly pathogenic avian influenza has received a great deal of attention in news reports across the country recently. I'd like to talk about how that disease has affected specifically the chicken industry. Is there anything the industry, Congress, or USDA needs to be considering to best address that problem today?
Thank you for your question. Between the egg layer industry, the turkey industry, and the chicken industry, we've been the least affected. A lot of that has to do with our biosecurity procedures, our housing, and our market, the way we move our birds to market more quickly. But what we can do is continue to support APHIS, who I'll give high marks to for what they've been out there and doing and working with industry. Another thing that I would like to raise while we're here is that the chicken meat industry move about 380 million eggs a year into rendering because up until 2009, those eggs were allowed to be used in commerce for egg hatching and pasteurization, so they're totally safe. But FDA came up with a rule, 2009, knocked us out. Well, 380 million birds a year, if they could go to pasteurization, can help you respond to your constituents when they're talking about the price of eggs being too high. That's a very high volume, and if we go back to 2009 when that rule was implemented to today, that's 5 billion birds. I think my staff tells me 5.3 billion eggs. So that's one thing this committee could consider.
Mr. Brown, thank you very much. I will just end by saying to all the farmers, the ranchers, the growers that you represent collectively on both sides of the aisle, thank you much for your service and your advocacy for them out here. I hope that this committee can do right by them. I wish you all a good growing season coming up. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back my time.